My name is Latrice. For those of you who do not recognize my face, nice to meet you. We can just go and jump right on in. All right, so just watch the video, a little clip of some 2 minutes. Dr. Anita Phillips, shout out to her, licensed therapist. And I found out I might have high functioning depression and high functioning anxiety. She started listing off some symptoms and some traits of these things. I said, oh, that sounds like me. And I started thinking about how I feel, right? And I've said this in other videos. I'm the type of person who likes to prepare for the practice so that by the time I get to the practice, I'm already an expert, right? So then I learn some extra stuff. And then when I get to the game, I'm about to smoke you. That I like to be prepared 80 steps in advance. Let me see way down the road, map out my thing. Even if it's my first time experiencing something, I want to be an expert. Whose sense does that make? None. So I was like, what is this anxiety I have? What is this like? I really started thinking about it. I'm like, I really be having anxiety. Like, I want to be so prepared. And I'm calling it just preparedness. But I'm like, no, I want to have control over things. I want to have control over situations and things in play. I don't like feeling like I don't have control. Because if I don't feel like I have control, I feel like everything's going to fall apart concerning me. Now, why Jesus made me be that honest and transparent with y'all? Anyway, so I started thinking. I said, well, if I'm a follower of Christ, a follower of Jesus, not a fan. If I'm a follower, that means I have to let me do what he did, be walking his way. Matthew, 8 and 23. Basically, Jesus gets into the boat, and Jesus gets in a boat with his disciples. They go across this lake. All of a sudden, a fierce storm struck the lake, with waves breaking into the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him up, shouting, "Lord, save us alive." They get in a boat. Jesus gets in a boat with his disciples. They go across the lake. All of a sudden, as soon as they get on the water, a storm comes and hits the lake. A lake now, okay? Hits the lake. It starts to fiercely hit the lake. So you got to think, in a storm, there's wind, there's water, they're in a little boat, right? So water's getting into the boat, splashing. Jesus probably getting wet. He's asleep, though. So the Bible says the disciples have to go and wake him up. So he's not awakened by the wind. He's not awake, the sound and everything, the sloshing sound. He's not woken up by the water that's getting into the boat, splashing on him. He ain't woke up with none of that. And now the disciples have to go, yo, my man, get up. There's a storm happening. Don't you care that we're going to die? He wakes up like, this is my imagination. Huh? A storm? Y'all still ain't got no faith in me? Hold on one second. Peace, be still, all that. Y'all good? All right, bet. And imagine he goes back to sleep after that. Now, if I'm following a man who literally slept, I don't know how he fall asleep that quick. I don't know how long it took for the storm to happen. How did he fall asleep before the storm? The storm happens. He's getting wet. The boat's rocking. All of this movement, all of this shaking, all of this instability happening. And my man is asleep. What kind of peace do you have? That you can sleep in the middle of all of the elements, where somebody has to physically push you and wake you up. I said, Jesus, if I'm a follower of yours, let me keep reading this thing. Keep talking to you. So I can get like that. But then that drove me to thinking about why I have anxiety and whose standards am I following? To thinking I need to control the situation and I have to have certain things done by a certain time. Who told me that? And that's what God keeps trying to remind me. Who told you had to have all of those things? Who told you had to be prepared so much for something you're doing for the first time? Who told you that? My question. I wrote it down. Who dictates your standards? And what qualifies them to do so? That's it, go about your business. Si nadie te ha dicho hoy, esta día que te estoy hablando a ti mismo, yo te quiero decir a ti que te amo. I want to tell you that I love you if nobody has told you today. Because it's not like we living out here, but guess what? We are going to prosper regardless. Catch you on the website.